Hi, um, my name is Cassidy, and I've been guided by God to finally start sharing a little bit of my journey, a little bit of my story, and how I ended up where I'm at right now, which is 7 months pregnant and homeless. So I'm not going to start from the beginning because it would be way too long. But I'm going to start halfway through the journey. Going from living at what I thought was my best friend's house and how I ended up here. So I was thankful enough that she had let me into her home. However, I was using drugs. I was using methamphetamine, alcohol, and marijuana. They have cameras all throughout their house. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to admit it, but I know that that's how they truly found out that I was getting high. Is I one day snorted a line of meth on their living room couch, and the next day it seemed like is when everything started to fall apart, even more so. And I decided to check myself into rehab. I did not want to go back to said friend's house, given the fact that her father is a raging alcoholic, and I felt as if my friend, who I'm 30 now, we've been close friends since we were 12 years old, I know for a fact that she was putting Pine Sol and or other cleaning products in my shampoo and conditioner. My hair started falling out rapidly, thinning, crazy. I lost all my curl pattern, and it is still now not the same. Months later, I decided to go to rehab, but I knew I didn't want to go back to her home because it was when I started living in her home, I started using again because of the subtle, passive-aggressive alcoholism and just chaotic household that I had lived my whole life that I was getting very triggered by, right? So I knew I didn't want to go back there. And a guy I met at the rehab said I could come stay with him. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm now almost 2 hours away from where I'm from. He lived almost 2 hours away because the rehab was more north. And within a week of staying there with him, we started sleeping together. I had my period while in rehab, while in detox. I had gotten my period and went to go stay with him, and haven't had a period since. I immediately got pregnant from this man that I had known for 2 weeks. Upon staying with said man is when I believe he started going back into addiction and hiding it from me. He would disappear for like a few hours and come back like all sweaty, sometimes change clothes. His hair would be soaking wet as if he got a shower. I knew he was cheating on me, denying it, and sometimes like his eyes would be like really, really glassy, and like his speech would be like slurred, and he just seemed like out of it. Like crack was his drug of choice, and meth, and he just seemed to be high as a kite and trying to hide it. And he would deny it, But I knew he was cheating on me, and I knew that he was getting high again. He had zero money at all times. Like, it didn't make sense. So he allowed me to come stay with him at his motel room. And I wanted to start going to IOP, intensive outpatient, right? So I started going to IOP, and that's when he really started to get like even more distant, aggressive towards me. He wasn't really ever aggressive towards me. He would, in the beginning, say things like, "I love you so much, you're my dream girl, I'll never leave you, you could do anything to me and I'll never leave you, the only thing you could do is cheat on me." That was what I found was weird. So I basically was the same princess that I've always been, not picking up after myself, letting him kind of cater to me, and that's how it was, and he didn't seem to mind it. In fact, he's one of those people who acts of care is his love language, and he actually seemed to enjoy catering to me. It wasn't until I started going to IOP from like 9 to 4 every single day, Monday through Friday, that I saw a huge switch up in him. We went to having sex every day, 3 times a day, sometimes more, to going a whole week without him engaging any type of sexual activity, not even kissing me. And that's when I noticed, like, not even hugging me or cuddling me. To the point where that's when I found out I was pregnant. And one day I was really, really sick, like throwing up really badly, like could not function sick, like from being pregnant, from being a couple weeks pregnant. And he got very, very mad that I was not going to go to IOP that day. And that's when the threats of starting to threaten to kick me out, that's when it started. Because one day I didn't want to go to IOP. That day that I didn't go to IOP, he did in fact disappear for hours on end. So yeah, and he was claiming that his aunt was paying for the room. He had little to no support as well, except his father and his father's sister, his aunt, who was apparently paying for the room. And that's when I started to notice things like every time the aunt would call, he would have to go outside. But anytime like his dad called or like one of his buddies called, like he would stay in the hotel room. But anytime his aunt called him, he would have to leave the hotel room completely and go outside, which I found was very strange. But I didn't say anything. And that's when, out of the blue, the arguments started to get more and more hostile. And suddenly now I'm being told I'm a piece of shit, I'm lazy, I'm not doing anything, I do nothing all day. Meanwhile, I'm going to IOP, 2 months pregnant, 5 days a week, full time. And anybody who's been pregnant knows that first couple months is fucking hell. While he is just sitting on his ass watching South Park and Family Guy all day. Okay? There was times when, you know, I would be so overstimulated from IOP, so overwhelmed, you know, and I would just ask simple things like, you know, can we turn the TV off for an hour? The TV had to be on all day long. And it was very overstimulating to me. And I would be told no, you know, that I'm ungrateful, you know, this is my room, da da da. That's when the, like, you know, this is my room, this is my, you know, those types of words started to come in to play. I'm ungrateful, I'm lazy, I'm selfish. That's when that all started. Like I said, around the time when he just magically started not wanting to have sex anymore. And it just wasn't adding up. And that's when one day we were in the bathroom and he had like grabbed me and kind of like shoved me while we were in the bathroom. Now I have been through an immense amount of domestic violence, which I do wish to get out there and explain, not to slander that individual, just to explain my experience and maybe help another woman or person who's going through this. But he knew all of that, what I had gone through. And so when he had put his hands on me like that, I looked at him and I said, don't you ever touch me like that ever again. I said, that right there, like, that's a no-no, and that is to never, ever, ever happen again. He apologized, you know, he acknowledged that it was wrong, and he said he would never do it again. Okay. And then we get into a fight one day, and he tells me to leave the hotel. Mind you, it's fucking January in New Jersey, and there was 14 inches of snow on the ground. So like an idiot, I walked out, went back like a little bit later. Okay. Fast forward to a week later. He puts his hands on me again. Okay. He grabs me, and this time he like kind of shoves me into the wall, and he starts like, he grabs me and like starts like shaking me and like puts me into the wall, and then actually grabs me and starts shoving me out the door again into the snow. And as he's doing that, you know, I'm already aware of the capabilities of this man to put his pregnant girlfriend out on the street, literally in the cold, with no care whatsoever. So I'm already preparing for it, right? Like, I know, like he's going to do it again, right? So I keep saying, like, oh my God, can I please grab a jacket? Can I please grab a jacket? He wouldn't let me grab a jacket. I was pregnant with his child. He knew that. And he slams the door in my face. And I was so terrified, like shaking in my boots. And the reason he did that was because he went through texts in my phone of me explaining to my real best friend, who I've been best friends with since we were literally in diapers, like babies. Okay. I've known her my whole fucking life. I was texting her, explaining to her what was going on because I felt really alone and I needed somebody to talk to. And she said to me, she lives 3.5 hours away in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. And she said to me, like, Cassidy, like, this is not normal. If you want, like, I will come pick you up, right? And that's, I said, okay, like, yes, please. Like, I need to get away from this man. Like, And that's when he saw those texts, he got very upset. And that's when he shoved me out into the cold again with no jacket. And slammed the door behind me. And like I said, because I've been through DV before, like I was like shaking. Like I was like, no, here we go again. Like I can't believe this is happening again. Like a grown man doing this to me. And so I had like nowhere to go. I was terrified. So I ran to the firehouse a couple blocks down. And immediately I get there and I tell them like, yeah, like I'm pregnant and my boyfriend just like kicked me out to the curb with no jacket. Like, can I sit here for a little bit? Like, I'm scared. That's all I said. And they let me come in and, you know, they had asked me like, did he put his hands on you? And I was like, yeah, he did. Like I know from past experiences with these men, like, I can't keep like hiding things from them, right? So I was like, yes, like he did put his hands on me. Like he grabbed me, he started shaking me, and he shoved me outside. Like, so the police came, and the EMS people came, and they asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital. I said yes, I want to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and my friend, who I was talking to, the one from the mountains, she drove 3.5 hours to come pick me up. Okay. She picked me up, you know, I hadn't seen her in years. Like, we had a ball together. We went to like Applebee's or Chili's, whatever. She had one of her kids with her. We had a ball. Okay. And that was that. Her boyfriend was there. And then I'm there with like the first 2 nights, and her boyfriend stayed the night there because it was like the weekend or whatever. And everything was fine, you know. I'm hanging out with the kids, like, you know, she was, I could tell, getting stressed from a lot of the stuff that was going on. So I, like, didn't want to bug her. Like, I tried to be as quiet as possible, like, as sweet as possible. Like, I was helping the kids, like, making sure, like, they were, like, ate the spaghetti, like, fixing their bowls for them, playing video games with them, like, talking with them. They were having a ball. You know, and her boyfriend were like basically upstairs with the two of them like the whole time while it was just like me hanging out with the kids. Like, and I didn't mind that because I knew she needed a break. She's a single mom. But that's when like the night that her boyfriend was gonna leave because he had work the next day, she was like begging him, like basically like almost in tears, like, please don't leave. Like, and she kept saying like things like, Cassidy, like, tell him not to leave. Tell him you want him here. And like I was just like going along with it because I really didn't give a shit, and I was just like whatever. So I was like telling him to stay. Like I didn't really give a shit. But so he fucking leaves, and that's when like all hell broke loose. Like that's when her mask like came off. Like all of a sudden he leaves and she's like not talking to me as much. She's withdrawing. She's constantly on her phone, constantly calling other people who, mind you, she talks to on a daily basis, who she lives near. I'm her best friend of 30 years. We haven't seen each other in like 5 fucking years. And you mean to tell me that you need to talk to your friend who you see every weekend on the phone for 3 hours? So the next morning comes, she's frazzled as anything, and I'm trying to be like empathetic of it, but like at the same time I'm like, girl, like what, like. So she is trying to get the kids ready for school. I'm trying to help her get the kids ready for school. You know, trying to lighten the mood, you know, making the kids fucking smile because they're like, you know, sitting there on edge because their fucking mom is like spazzing out. So I'm trying to, you know, encourage them, like talk to them and stuff. And I can tell they're like, you know, they start to fucking smile. So the kids go to school, and that's when again, she called her so-called friend, and I hear her complaining about me to this friend, saying things like, this is not my responsibility, this isn't my problem. I'm trying to help, but I don't know how. And I get it, right? I get it. But the whole, like, this isn't my responsibility and this isn't my problem, like, hearing that from somebody who I've called my best friend for 30 years, that really hurt. That really hurt, right? And because she's my best friend, I wasn't just gonna sit there and, like, pussyfoot around the situation and act like I wasn't hearing it. Because she was upstairs, I was downstairs, she was upstairs talking so loudly about me, making me feel like even more shit for being there. Like, she was so burdened at the fact that she is the one. I didn't ask her to come get me. She said to me, Cassidy, I'm coming to get you. Like, so I said, okay, right? We're trying to call, like, it was only, like, the first 2 nights. Like, I've been here for 2 days. Like, why are you already so dysregulated that I'm here? You've known me your entire life, right? So I yell upstairs. I said, can you please be quiet? I can hear you. And her response was, excuse me, what did you say? And I said, can you please lower your voice? I can hear you and it hurts. She took that and ran. She all of a sudden started saying these crazy things. How dare you tell me what to do in my house? This is my house. You don't tell me what to do. I took you in, da-da-da-da-da. You do not tell me what to do. I said, I'm not telling you what to do, but I can hear the things you're saying about me, and you're being really loud about it, and it's fucking disrespectful. Like, it's dehumanizing. It's making me feel like shit. Like, I'm some kind of homeless fucking bum off of the streets, and I'm not your best fucking friend. Like, have some dignity for me, please. Like, please don't make me feel like any more of a piece of shit than I already feel like, right? She didn't like that I stood up for myself like that. And it turned to, me telling her she's an ungrateful bitch, because mind you, her house thing, she pays $200 a month. She's on fucking Section 8. I'm sorry, I'm a welfare queen at this point myself, but come on, bro. Your house, you pay $200 a month for a fucking 3-bedroom with a fucking balcony patio with the fucking mountains in the back. Come on, bro. Like, what do you... So I called her an ungrateful bitch, and that's when she threatened to call the police on me. So I said, go ahead, right? The bitch literally calls the police on me, telling me I need to get out of her home, that I have no right to talk to her like that in her house. Like, I'm sorry, has nobody told you no before? Are you that convoluted and that, on this narcissistic rampage, Facebook where everybody's a narcissist and nobody can tell you what to do, rampage, where your best fucking friend can't even tell you, please don't talk about me like that? But I'm supposed to, because it's her house, I'm supposed to just let her say whatever she wants about me, knowing I'm 3.5 fucking hours away in the middle of nowhere, right? So the police show up, right? Okay, boy, was I never happier to get back to New Jersey. I mean, I thought the New Jersey police, I thought New Jersey was wild. Boy, them fucking hick boys, that shit was scary. Scary. I mean, I was looking around, I was like, what the fuck? I said, take me back to New Jersey. I said, get me the fuck out of this hick ass shit right now, please, right? I was like, woo. So the police take me to this like center, this 24-hour mental health center where you can stay over the night, right? And at that point, that night before that, the father of my child actually had texted me talking about, mind you, I had gotten a TRO on him that when, in the firehouse, at the firehouse that day. I went to the police and got a TRO and everything. He texted me saying, I'm so sorry. I should have never done that. I love you so much. I want to be a family. We can start over, this, that, and the third. So, like an idiot, I had went back to him. After being at that weird crisis place, I had I tried checking myself into the mental institution, but telling them I was homeless and had nowhere to go. They only wanted to keep me there for 24 hours, and they said, yeah, this isn't a homeless shelter. You need to leave. So there I was again, nowhere to go. This time I'm pregnant. So yeah, I went back to the father. And that's when, about like a couple of days later, the police knocked on the door the day before Valentine's Day and said, that he had a warrant out for his arrest for something from like years ago, unpaid tickets or something. So they take his ass away, and I didn't hear from him, like, at all. Like, nothing. Like, I had gotten a phone call to my phone from the jail, but like there was no money on his books. So like the phone call was like asking me to pay for it, and I'm like, I don't even have like even if I don't have a debit card or anything. Like, I had no way to pay for this phone call, so I had to hang up. Like, so he's in there, and I'm like, and the room was paid till Thursday. It's like a Tuesday at this point. And like, I like didn't know what to do, right? So I had called one of my therapists from this like program, from the IOP program. They connected me with this lady. And I told her, like, look, like, he's in jail. Like, I have no idea when he's getting out. Like, can you like take me to the Board of Social Services down in my county where I'm from? She was like, yeah. Lo and behold, he does get out of jail that freaking Thursday. Okay, so he had gotten out of jail 2 days later. I forgot to mention though, so I had left on a Tuesday. Sunday, so the police knocking on the door Friday night. Saturday morning, the door, bang, 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 bang. I thought it was the police, because like I said, they had just knocked on the door the day before that. And it's these loud ass bangs that only the police banging like that, right? So I didn't even look at the peephole or nothing. I thought it was the police again, right? So I fucking answer the door, and it's some woman, okay? It's some woman. Obviously, she's older than me, I could tell. But I, like couldn't tell how old she was, and, like, I'm not trying to be mean or fresh, but, like, she kind of looked, like, old in the face. So I thought it was his aunt, right? So her immediate question is, who are you? Where is, let's just say his name is Andrew. Where is Andrew? And, basically, what the fuck are you doing here, right? I said, I am Andrew's girlfriend. I'm living here. Who the fuck are you? Like, he just got locked up, right? And she said, I haven't heard, her exact words were, I haven't heard from him all day. I'm worried. And the moment, like, that I told her I was his girlfriend, she's like, look at me, she's like, oh, really? Like, really? I was like, yeah. And she just keeps asking me all these questions, like, who did he tell you pays for this room? How long have you been here? How did you meet him? All these, like, intrusive ass questions that I'm like, only a mother would ask. Like, that level of intrusive. And so I'm thinking it's his aunt, right? I'm like, there's no way, like, a woman would be this invested in this man, right? This fucking homeless junkie who 2 months ago was literally his house was under the train platform. Like, I was like, there's no way, like, any woman besides this man's mother is asking me these intrusive types of questions, right? So, like, it's gotta be his aunt. I'm like, are you his aunt? She's like, yeah, I'm his aunt. And that got me to, like, trust her. So I'm like, oh, like, I'm feeling like, oh shit, like, this is the woman that's helping the both of us out. Like, she didn't even know I was here, right? So I'm inviting her in the room and everything, sitting down, talking with her. I gave her my number. I gave her my name, first and last name. I gave her all this information about myself, like where I'm from, like crazy, thinking it's his fucking aunt. And then, I tell her that he got locked up, and she was like totally mind blown. Like, she had no clue. All I knew was that she said, I haven't heard from him all day, and I got worried. And that's when all of a sudden something was said, and she got all pissed off at something I said, and she was like, do you even have his aunt's number? I was like, I thought you were the aunt. Oh, I'm his aunt's friend. I'm his friend. I'm his aunt's friend. So first it said she's his aunt. Then she's his aunt's friend. Now she's just his friend. Like, none of it was adding up. And I'm like, who is this girl? And I kept asking her, like, what her name was. And she kept, like, diverting the question to, like, some question about, like, me. And, like, so I'm at this point, like, because she looks much, like, he's 10 years older than me, right? I'm 30. He's almost, like, he's a year away from being 40. And she, like to the point where she looks so old in the face. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but, like, it must be from, like, doing drugs or something. That, like, she could have passed as, like, the aunt or the aunt's friend. Like, so I'm really thinking at this point, like, it really is his aunt's friend, like, and that's when she all of a sudden just leaves, right? Somehow it all started clicking for me, and I'm realizing, like, okay, now I know it's definitely not his aunt, right? Because she gave herself away by saying, do you even have his aunt's number? So I'm still thinking it's like, okay, it's probably just the aunt's friend. Like, I'm thinking, like, this woman has some relation to the aunt, right? Because of how, like, fucking old she looked in the face. Like, and, so I'm putting two and two together. So I, like, start texting him, like, all this crazy shit. Like, I know he was locked up and he didn't have access to the phone. But, like, I needed to get off my chest, like, hey, look, like, this is sketch. Like, I know you've been seeing other people. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this woman? Who's this woman? Why is she, she's claiming to be your aunt's friend. Like, who in the world is this passionate about their nephew, their friend's nephew, right? If she's the aunt's friend, that would make him her friend's nephew. Like, that's weird. Like, that's bizarre, right? I was like, I know that this woman is not associated with your aunt, and I know that there's something going on between the two of you that neither of you are telling me. She wouldn't tell me her name, and she kept lying about these different roles of who she is in her life. Like, who is this one? So he gets out of jail and doesn't tell me. I had to find out through the internet by doing some research myself to find out when exactly he got out. And I found out when he got out. And about a week had passed to where he still was not answering his phone. So now the phone was ringing, right? So I knew he wasn't locked up anymore because the fucking phone was ringing. And he just was not answering any of my phone calls or texts. It's like, I was like, bro, I know you're out of jail. Like, I'm like, hello, like, I'm pregnant with your child. Like, answer the phone, right? And all he had to say was, I was locked up. And instead of getting sympathy from you, all I get are these messages of you accusing me of cheating. So yeah, he basically switched on me completely. Like, it was like a flip had switched. Like, so I have come to the conclusion with talking to people that that was actually his real girlfriend, and I was the side piece all along and didn't even know it. And he had been hiding me in his motel room without her knowledge. She claimed that she showed up to the motel to pick up his diabetes, medicine. While she was there, yes, she did ask about the diabetes medicine. She said, "Where's his diabetes medicine?" I said, "It's in the fridge." And she said, "Okay." She didn't bring any diabetes medicine back with her, and she didn't even know he was locked up. So, the story for me from when she first approached me was, where is he? That's all. She didn't know where he was and that she was worried about him. Now, suddenly, the story is that she showed up to bring him the diabetes medicine to the jail. But, it's funny, the day before, she didn't even know he was in jail, right? And she did not bring any diabetes meds back with her. So that, he just completely flipped the switch. So now I'm at the Board of Social Services being told that they cannot help me. Yeah, and it's the middle of a fucking snow blizzard, literally a blizzard. And, one of my friends who is a little bit older than me paid for my room for me for about a week. Okay. And then I went back to the board the very next day. After they told me they couldn't help me, I showed up again the next day, right? And was like, can you help me now? Like, it's been a day, like. And they wouldn't even load my food stamps card because I apparently didn't renew it on time or something like that. And I'm sitting there, like, at this point, like, going days without eating, like, not really even telling anybody because I already felt so ashamed about what was going on. So I'm, like, barely eating, right? And it's not until I literally start almost passing out at the Board of Human Services to where they call 911 on me, and the ambulance immediately takes me to the hospital because they're worried about malnutrition, right? So then they tell me, "Oh, we're going to help you, but we can't help you till the 25th, which was in a week." So that's when the hospital, released me at 9 p.m. at night in a rainstorm in February with nowhere for me to go. Just kicked me to the curb. And thankfully for this very nice man, if it weren't for him, I don't know where I would have slept that night. It was a brutal night to be outside, and that week actually was it's just funny, like, it seems like every time I'm, like, literally nowhere to go, like, there's a fucking, like, tsunami storm or a fucking blizzard or a fucking heat wave. Like, it winds up right on the money, like, I'm not kidding, like, it's like, huh. So I'm there for a week. And that's when Human Services places me. And they placed me in Camden, New Jersey. Now, this was my second time living and getting placed at the shelter in Camden, New Jersey. And if you don't know about Camden, New Jersey, I suggest you look it up. It's not a good place to be, okay, for anybody. And the amount of things that have happened to me the first time that I was there, I vowed that I would never, ever, no matter how low I am, ever go live there again. But here I am going to go live there again, begging the lady, please, anywhere but there. And she said, that's all we have, right? So I go back and immediately start running into issues. And just, one thing after another, to the point where I am so mentally ill at that point, pregnant, hormonal, and using drugs again. Yes, I was. I hate to admit it, but I have to just be honest about my story. And I couldn't handle the environment. It's It's not like it's a war zone. It is the dead of the dead. Like, even for somebody who grew up there, it's not a good place. Okay, so for a cute little white girl, okay, who doesn't look like they've been through what they've been through, doesn't look like they have drug issues, doesn't look like they have all these fucking problems. Yeah, people don't like me there, and they either think I'm a fucking police, or I don't know what the fuck they think I am. But it was to the point I was literally like being stalked, being harassed, grown men like grabbing me and trying to like shove me into vans and stuff. Like, yeah, it was like really scary. Like, I would like call the police when these things would happen. Like, they wouldn't even show up. Like, they literally don't care. So the one day, the staff member said to me that they're gonna deny my, because you have to get kicked out of the shelter from 9 in the morning to 12 p.m. every day, and you're not allowed to stay on the grounds. And I was like trying to explain to him, like, I'm like pregnant. I was like 4 or 5 months at this point. Like, I was like, I'm like pregnant in the middle of this like fucking literal war zone, okay? Like, where do you guys want me to go, right? And I know that under certain circumstances, you can get a doctor's note and you don't have to leave the premises. You can stay there all day. And so they were trying to tell me that the lady who's not even a boss, not even anybody, she just fucking works there. She was trying to tell me, she's like laughing. She's like, yeah, your letter's gonna get denied. Like, and I looked at her, I said, if I was your daughter, you wouldn't say that. And her response was, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up, right? So I was like, excuse me, what did you just say to me? She said, you heard me. So I immediately got my phone out and I called the police, right? Because at that point, she grabbed the telephone and started calling one of the other employees from the other building. She was like the only employee there. She like called to the other building, and her exact words were, somebody needs to come over here because I'm going to put my hands on Mrs. Blank, my last name, right? Not somebody come over here, Mrs. Blank, me, talking about me, is gonna attack me. No, her words were, I'm going to attack this girl. Somebody needs to come here before I do. The staff. Okay? So yes, I called the police. The police did not give a flying fuck. I was told that I'm the one who said that I was going to hit her first, and that's why she said that. And that she was defending herself, okay? And I asked for a report. I wanted a police report on the incident. I was not given one. I was told that there is no police report, okay? So that was that. And yeah, and then the next day, they just kept starting with me, to the point where I called 988. I didn't call 911, I called 988 because I have nobody to fucking talk to through this. Mind you, it's like 1 in the morning and they're starting with me, the girls in the room. And I have nobody to fucking talk to. So I call 988 just to try to calm myself down. And 988 hears what is going on in the background. I'm having grown women come up to me saying, bitch, I'm gonna knock your fucking teeth in. And they heard that shit. So they called the fucking police, okay? 988, the fucking suicide hotline, called the police because they were worried about me. The police get there. And the very next morning, I am told that my police calls are a disturbance to the community and that I need to leave, okay? So I go back to Human Services, and Human Services told me that, yeah, you're SOL, you got yourself kicked out, and that's what it is, and you're sanctioned. So here I am back on the streets again, with the help of an organization, finding like different vouchers like week by week by different churches who would pay for a motel room for me for like a couple days or like a week. Somehow I made it by. And it was just very unstable, very unsettling. And then I go to another shelter. This shelter was a shelter for pregnant women and mothers and their kids, okay? To which another incident happens where, I'm hearing staff blatantly be disrespectful and publicly humiliating to one of the other mothers who live there. And I called them out on it, and I was like, you can't talk to somebody like that. Like, homeless women who are pregnant are one of the most vulnerable populations that you can work with. Like, you don't get to talk to us like that, right? She didn't like that at all. And I was told, I'm allowed to talk to whoever I want to, however I want to, whenever I want to, right? And it pissed me off. It really pissed me off. And I started screaming, crying. Like, I went outside and I started crying hysterically. And it was to the point where I had this feeling like, if I go back in that house, like, I am going to freak the fuck out. Like, I can't be the energy, this is all very spiritual too. Like, the entities behind some of these women, some of these people are just as bad, to me, as these abusive ass men. Like, some of these women are so fucked, right? So I checked I had nowhere to go, and I knew I was not going to be safe, emotionally safe, at all, at this house, right? So I checked myself into the fucking mental institution again, just so I had somewhere to stay, okay? And I'm there for a week or two. And again, had nowhere to go upon release. The house said that they would take me back, right? And everything was good. And then the day before, or no, it was the day of, or the day before my discharge, they turned around and said no, that they didn't want me back, that I could go to their New York City location. I'm not going to New York. You can't just send me to fucking another state. That's not how this works. And she said, okay, well, your only other option is dropping you off at the front steps of the fucking Board of Social Services. Now, I know at this point I'm sanctioned by the Board of Social Services and that they're not going to help my ass, but I'm not having you send me to New York. What? So I can have a fucking mental episode on the streets of New York and get fucking stabbed? No, sorry. I'm not doing that. Camden was enough of a shit show for me. I'm not going to New York. Thank you. So they dropped my ass off at the Board of Social Services, right? And the lady who I met at the rehab, at the loony bin, she's my roommate. So sweet, down to earth. Oh, baby, we can't let you go through this. You can come stay with me, right? So she comes letting me stay with her. That was a fucking shit show from hell. She's on this alcoholic rampage and all upset that me and her husband are watching a scary movie because she doesn't like scary movies. And when I offer to, okay, we'll change the channel. I'm so sorry. She goes, no, and stormed out, didn't show up back until 12 hours later. 5 a.m, comes bursting through the door. Mind you, before that, the neighborhood boys were bouncing balls and the ball hit the window of the house. The husband starts slinging guns around and pointing the guns at the kids. I gotta get the fuck out of here, right? It was to the point where, I had literally nowhere to go at all. But I knew I was not gonna fucking stay there. I was not gonna stay at this fucking crazy lady and her fucking husband's house with these fucking guns, okay? No, sorry. So I walked my ass to the fucking convenience store with my belongings. Mind you, all of my belongings were in her car. She had gotten a DUI, like I said the night before. And for some reason, she kept all my she wanted to keep my stuff in her car, so the fucking car got impounded. I lost everything I fucking owned. Thank God I had on me my wallet, my important paperwork, which is really weird because she had went through my stuff when I was sleeping or something and stole some of my artwork that I made from my family, which is really weird. So anyway, she didn't steal anything else. So, but just made paperwork, but all of my clothes, like some of my shoes, like my toiletries, like not that I had much with me, mind you, but like everything was gone, right, in this car that was impounded. So I'm like, fuck it, I have nothing. I have the fucking clothes on my back, literally, and my fucking wallet, like, and like a hairbrush, do you know what I mean? And my ID. So it was just not even a state ID. It's like a county, like, recovery, like this ghetto ass, like, ID that you get from the fucking county when you're homeless or in recovery. Stop. So I don't even have a real ID. I have my birth certificate though. So I'm sitting out of the convenience store and I just like start crying to myself. Like, I'm not being loud, I'm not being hysterical. I'm just like sitting there like crying, like trying to process what's going on. Somebody calls the fucking police on me. And the police show up and they're like, basically, you know, closing time, you know, what is it? You can go anywhere, but you can't stay here. Just, you know, it's like the middle of the day. And they did, thank the Lord, they did offer me, you know, to drop me off somewhere. You know, is there anywhere you can go? Any family, friends? No, sorry, there's not. But I would like to go to the convenience store in the other town where I'm from. You know, I said, most likely I'll run into somebody I know, or somebody, you know, I'll have a better chance of fucking survival than at this convenience store, which is off of the highway in a town that I'm not really too familiar with, right? So I have them drop me off at the little town that I'm from, the convenience store, and I immediately run into my homeless friends. And one of them is this guy who's there, and I immediately tell, like, they hadn't seen me in so long, right? Because like I was living in all these different places, like in and out of the hospital. So I hadn't seen them for a while. So they're like, "Oh my God, hey, like, how you been? Like, we were thinking about you and stuff, you know." And you know, I start to tell them what's going on, and this guy who's there, he's looking at me. He's like, "You can stay with me." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "You have your own place?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God." He said, "It's in Trenton." Okay, so he takes me, we get on the fucking train. He takes me to Trenton. Come to find out, it's a rooming house where he's not allowed to have visitors. And he has to sneak me in, and to sneak me in, he has to open the back door, and the fucking alarm and the whole place gets set off, and we dart up the stairs like little high school kids. Okay, so mind you, I still have to go to program and all that through this. So every time I leave this apartment, we have to sneak me back in and set the alarm off and cause more commotion. So that was that. That got, you know, tiring really quickly, and it was a very small room. It was like the size of a closet. I'm very grateful for this guy letting me stay, but he like turned into be one of those guys who's kind of like a little boy in a man's body, and like everything was like a fucking tantrum, and everything he would like get so grumpy and grouchy about. I'm just like, ew, like fucking like I just. And I like couldn't leave, like I had to be stuck and just like sit there with it, like, ew. So anyway, the one day I like literally started bleeding vaginally, which is not normal. Mind you, at this point I'm 6.5 months pregnant, like 7 months pregnant, and it's not normal to vaginally bleed when you're that far along. So I called my OB, and they're like, who I had just seen like a week before, like, yeah, you to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and by the grace of God, an angel was there. And she had said, like, I don't feel safe releasing you back to the streets. Like, this is not okay. Like, you need help. And I got put into a no shelter where I'm at now. And it's very good, and I'm getting treated nicely and fairly and justly, and treat it like a human being. And so that's where I'm at now. I would like to definitely share on how I got to, like I said, when I was at my friend's house, and before I got pregnant, like, again, up to that point, but I wanted to start at that and just express from this present time and document the things that are happening on a daily basis for me, and try to build support in a community, and maybe find other people who have gone through this or going through this, because it's the loneliest time of my life. You know, people can say all they want about me. You know, I've never stolen from anybody. I've never fucking asked anybody for a fucking dime except my poor grandmother, who the only money I've asked her for was, can you pay my phone bill once, maybe twice I asked her to pay for my phone bill. And then one other time was, can you please pay for me for a motel for like maybe 4 or 5 nights, because it was a fucking blizzard and I had nothing. I was going to be sleeping outside. So she came up to the motel and paid for. Not once have I asked anybody for anything, like anything. Okay, not even food. I've asked family members for food and got told, sorry, I'm busy. It's hell, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, and I need to start documenting this, because one day I'm going to look back and I'm going to be grateful that I kept fighting. And I'm going to show all the people around me who for 20 years, 25 years, 30 fucking years have sat by my side, cheered me on, been there for me, loved me, seen me at all different angles, me seeing them at all different angles. Me never personally do anything to any of them. The only people I really feel like I've hurt is myself and my family, right? My immediate family, my grandmother and my brother. And to anybody else who has just left me and disregarded me as a human being, they're gonna remember me. They're gonna remember me, and you know what? I can't say for certain that I'm gonna be able to be there if something ever I don't know. I don't wish to say that I would wish to, you know, be mean to somebody, but I don't know. I don't know. All I know is they're gonna remember me, and one thing about me is I haven't changed my spirit. I haven't changed my humor. I never stopped smiling. I never stopped laughing. I never stopped singing. I never stopped making art. And when I get back to normal, and I'm better than I ever was before, and I'm better of a person than they ever thought I could be, they're gonna wish I was in their life. Not for what I do for them, but for the presence that I add to them. And maybe when one day they look around and realize all these fake people that have their back, they're not gonna have their back when they're going through something like this, if it, God forbid, ever happens. And I need to document this along the way to help myself remember where I came from and to never let it happen again. And that starts with never letting anybody take me away from me. Because all this started because I let somebody who I didn't even mention in this whole story for years, I let that person break me down to the worst points of literally the person trying to kill me, attempt vehicle manslaughter, you know, choking me out to the point where I'm pissing myself and blacking out. I let that happen to me, and I need to document all of this because it put me here where I am today, 7 months pregnant, living at a homeless shelter. And I need to document this so that it never happens again, and to hopefully encourage somebody to never let it happen to them, and to help people fight through it if they're going through it too. So if you have watched it up to this point, I thank you, and I love you. God bless. Amen.